For all things horror media, we got you covered. VANN Media LLC presents your final Halloween checklist. I'm KRAVEN VANN. It's time to talk a little Tales from the Darkside. You know, when people think of classic horror anthologies, they go straight to Tales from the Crypt. It had the HBO machine behind it, the big budget, the A-list guest stars, and some of Hollywood's biggest directors cutting loose in blood and neon. But Tales from the Darkside, on the other hand, that was the scrappy underdog. A syndicated show running on a fraction of their budget. No big names, no flashy sets, no premium cable safety net. And yet somehow, Darkside hit harder. It felt weirder, cheaper, grimier. Like you were watching something you weren't supposed to find on late night TV. Where Crypt was a glossy comic book of gore and irony, Darkside was an unhinged hellscape of suburban nightmares, bad lighting, and stories that crawled under your skin. It didn't need Hollywood. It had atmosphere, dread, and that uncanny 80s cheapness that somehow made it even scarier. So tonight, let's step out of the light and back into the dark side. So allow me to handpick the scariest, most sinister 6 Tales from the Darkside episodes to watch this Halloween. Here we go. At number 1, the Gizan Stacks. You can check any list that rank Tales from the Darkside, and you're always going to find this one there at the top. A true favorite. A young girl was given a gift. A mysterious dollhouse that perfectly mirrors her family's every move. When her parents dismiss it as coincidence, the miniature figures begin to act out something darker. A premonition of death. A chilling slow burn that would have felt right at home in Rod Serling's The Twilight Zone. As far as the creepy doll trope, don't get too comfortable, because this takes you to a place that it's never been. And as far as the dolls go, the design is among the most macabre I've ever seen. The pallid, pale faces, the hollowed-out black eyes. This is creepy stuff. And the final scenes of this episode always manage to make my blood run cold. And it's highly recommended by yours truly. At number 2, the one that started it all, the pilot episode, Trick or Treat. A greedy loan shark builds a haunted maze to torment the children of debtors every Halloween. But when a real witch pays him a visit, the punishment fits the cruelty. It's cheap, campy, and absolutely soaked in 80s Halloween atmosphere. This is the perfect way to kick off Darkside, showing you that it's something very unique and a must-see this Halloween. At number 3, definitely considered one of the scariest episodes of the whole series, the Cutty Black Sew. A dying grandmother warns her family about a Celtic demon that comes each Halloween to steal souls. Her grandson dismisses it as folklore until the night grows cold. The lights flicker and something ancient claws through the walls. This is one of the most atmospheric and folklore-heavy episodes, and the end will pretty much leave your jaw on the floor. Hopelessness and dread. In other words, perfect entertainment for people like us. Oh yes, one of my own personal favorites. At number 4, The Last Car. A college student boards a train home late at night and takes a seat in the final car. A silent, eerie compartment with passengers who never seem to move. Every stop feels the same, and soon she realizes the train isn't taking her home at all. Now this is a haunting meditation on death and denial, and before they had names for things like dreamcore and weirdcore, this pretty much flirted with those concepts almost over 4 decades ago. It's one of my go-tos. I watch it every year, every Halloween, and you should too. At number 5, Inside the Closet. This was voted by just about every fan of this show as the best episode. As a med student renting a room is warned by her landlord never to open the tiny closet in her bedroom. Of course, curiosity wins, and what's hiding inside is one of the series' most iconic monsters, designed by the great Tom Savini, who also directs this episode, and he knocks it out the park. This one's claustrophobic, skin-crawling, and it's one of Tales of the Darkside's pure nightmare fuel episodes. A must-watch, in other words. And yes, at number 6, our final entry, rounding out our Sinister 6 Tales from the Darkside episodes, I give you probably my all-time favorite episode, Halloween Candy. It's about an old, bitter man who refuses to give treats to trick-or-treaters until a strange child in a grotesque mask appears. The hours pass, but the child never leaves. And when he finally reveals what's beneath the mask, the man learns the cruelest trick of all. This is a perfect Halloween morality tale, and yes, this is essential Tales from the Darkside Halloween viewing. So there you have it, my Sinister 6 Tales from the Darkside. It was horror born from flickering CRTs, cheap sets, from stories that felt a little too strange, too off, too real to come from anywhere but the shadows of 1980s television. It was raw imagination, twisted folklore, and midnight urban legends told by people who didn't need gore to get under your skin. Even now, decades later, these little half-hour nightmares still hold power. They whisper to that part of us that grew up watching Static and wondering what lived on the other side. Because in the end, the dark side was never just a show. It was a warning. So thank you for joining me. I'm KRAVEN Van Candy. And for wherever you may be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good riddance.